My name is Mike Dickey from Atomic Labs. I'm here to talk about our product called Pion. Pion helps our customers primarily to get better data for their web analytics. We talk a lot about web analytics, but we really aren't an analytics company. We don't have any analytics or reporting capabilities. We merely focus on the acquisition of the best data possible for both your web analytics and your search marketing analytics. Two of the primary objectives that we help customers with are to capture their clickstream traffic without having to use page tags and the hassles that are commonly associated with tagging code on all of your pages on your site. The other objective that we have is to help you record, search, and replay visitor sessions on your website. It's sort of like having a TiVo for your website. So if something goes wrong and they call you up at your call center and have a problem, you can pull up their visitor session and see page by page what those visitors saw. Now, many people ask me, how do you do this? How can you capture information without using page tags? So to understand that, I think it's helpful to look at really the history of analytics and getting data out about that traffic. In this diagram, we have the server talking with the browser. Essentially, there's conversations that are occurring between servers and browsers on your site. We represent it in this graph using the little dotted orange lines. Now, traditionally, the primary method to get data was to ask the servers to take notes on these conversations. This is essentially log files. Log files have many drawbacks. They're unable to really accurately identify unique visitors on your site. They also don't have a very good description of what happened within that traffic. They don't know what the browser sent to the server, like post forms and other things. And they don't know how the server responded, such as with product information or other visual information that was sent to that user. So because of this, along came page tagging. Page tags essentially are little snippets of code that your IT staff has to place in the pages on your website in order to track how people are using the site. Page tags are superior to log files in many ways. Primarily, they're better at tracking unique visitors on your website. They can also capture more information about what is within those pages. Essentially, the more logic or the more code you put into those tags, the more information you're able to get within your analytics. So typically, installing a page tag isn't a very difficult process. You can just place it into, cut and paste it into all your pages. But when you want to really customize your reports, when you want custom events, e-commerce events, and other things like that, you have to go into each and every page and write custom code to do that. And that's a pretty tedious process for many companies out there. There's also a growing population of visitors out there that just don't work with page tags. Over 80% of mobile device users or mobile device models that are out there don't work with tags because they don't support the underlying JavaScript and cookies that are required for those to work properly. There's also older browsers that people use, and there's a growing trend amongst users to disable their cookies and their JavaScript. Because of this, we find on average that about 15% of your visitor population is just lost when you're using tagging. The notes that they're trying to send to your analytics provider are just gone, and they become invisible for your analytics. So a third approach is to use a passive listener technology. Basically, we can listen in on the conversations on the traffic that goes in and out of your data center, and from that gain the most valuable understanding, the most rich understanding of what's within your traffic. If the log files and the tags essentially are the server and browser taking notes, the passive listener approach is basically akin to having like a courtroom reporter who's dedicated to capturing and recording the most accurate record of that data possible. Pion's also able to tie in information from other sources that you have across your enterprise. For example, when somebody logs into their shopping cart, you can perform a query to your CRM system and pull in information about how long have they been a customer, how much have they spent with me, etc. Pion has a built-in stream computing or real-time processing engine that lets you filter, process, correlate, aggregate, and manipulate your data in many different ways. We can also feed data to custom warehouses, so if you have some custom reporting requirements, we integrate with about 11 different native database engines. We can also feed data to your application servers for real-time personalization. We've integrated with every major web analytics vendor, including especially Google Analytics, so that the same great reports that you get from Google Analytics, you can get without using page tags when you use Pion. And of course, we also have a replay product that allows you to see page by page what visitor sessions saw on your site. And I can't do a demo on this computer, so what I did is I took a bunch of screenshots to give you a feel for how our user interface works and how Pion works. When you first install Pion, we have a very easy setup wizard that guides you through the process by asking just a few questions about your website. We have 4 different additions to Pion. Pion Lite is what we're announcing today. It's the free version of Pion, which means that it's free not just for 100,000 pages or a certain size, but it's free for everybody to use, as large as their website is, and perpetually for as long as you want. And it basically gives you the same data that you would get from putting an out-of-the-box page tag into your website. So without customization, you get the same data that you get with Pion Lite. Pion Core is our open source development platform for software developers. It allows them to extend the platform by building custom plugins, so you can really do whatever you want with your data. Pion Enterprise is our commercial edition that adds real-time data processing, custom data collection, as well as data integration. And our Pion Replay product is an add-on to Enterprise that adds the ability to visually replay sessions. Setting up Google with Pion is extremely easy. All you have to do is cut and paste your account ID for the report suite that you'd like to use into the web interface. We recommend that if you're an existing Google Analytics user, that you set up a separate report suite and feed data from Pion to that. That way you'll be able to get a really accurate and great comparison of what you're getting from page tags versus what you're getting from Pion. We believe that you'll find that you'll get about 15% more visitors and much better information out of that. Our user interface is web-based. It works in any browser, so there's no applications or plugins or anything you have to install. The configuration is very visual. It uses a drag-and-drop interface that allows you to make changes on the fly. And what we found with web analytics and analytics in general is that you never set it up once and you're finished. Marketers really want to, as they have new reports and as they have new insights, they want to change the data that they're getting and change the reports that they're getting to learn new things. And that process typically requires a cycle of going back to your IT, having them update your pages, etc. It's very costly and time-consuming. With Pion, you can go into our web interface and change your data capture rules on the fly without having to touch your pages. One common example is, let's say you have a whole bunch of file names that are delivered for your website. The file names are kind of cryptic and don't have a lot of meaning to them. So in your reports, you'd like to get something more meaningful. With our transform reactor, you can just drag and drop it into your pipeline and use our lookup feature, our lookup table feature, to map all of the file names to something descriptive that actually means something to you. Our replay interface allows you to search for specific visitor sessions on your site. You can use a lot of different metrics to search for a session, including account ID, login ID. You can also use custom metrics that might be specific to your site. We've also performed integrations with different companies that allow you to provide an opinion or feedback on the website. So if you're looking for the feedback from a particular user, you can click on a URL and pull up their visitor session inside of Replay. So with the Replay interface, you basically get a list of all the pages on your site at the top, and you can click on a page to view that directly, and below it will render the page. It uses the same HTML code that was sent to each user, so if you have a dynamic website, you can also see those pages within your interface. In this session, I have an 18-month-old son, and I was looking to purchase some Play-Doh for him. I had a promotion code, but the promotion code, I guess, wasn't valid anymore. So when I went to check out my card, I got this really scary error message all in red. Now, if I were to call up eToys and say, hey, I had this problem on your website, they'd be able to open the Pion interface, find my visitor session, step through and see the code that I typed in and see the error message that I got. They could do all of this while I'm on the website and help me complete the session by seeing what I see on the website. We also have a bunch of great technical information for your IT folks. So if they're trying to debug problems in your application, we have all the requests, all the response data that's sent back and forth. We also have all the page details, like each individual image, style sheet, and code that was sent to the browser. And we also can calculate things like performance metrics, such as page load time. There's also some great collaboration features. Each visitor session in Pion is represented by a URL. So there's a link that you can click that will open your email client and send that URL to somebody else. So when Keith Shiley, who I sent this email to, opens the message, they can click on the URL and instantly pull up the Pion interface in their favorite browser and see the same visitor session.